Mr. Barghouti, you've had approximately 24 hours to figure out what was said from the White House yesterday. What is your reaction to both things? One, the taking over control and forcibly removing the population, and the other to we will provide employment, we will level, we will get rid of the unexploded ordnance, get rid of all the rubble and rebuild it into a beautiful space?
Christian, thank you. What we heard was President Trump talking, but actually it was the voice of Netanyahu. What President Trump proposed was not only destructive, but criminal. I don't know if the American people in leadership understand exactly what he was saying, that this is a war crime, that this is a criminal act, that this is the most serious violation of international law. And by which law President Trump thinks he can steal our land and conduct theft of Gaza Strip, to use it for his, imaginary plans of construction and so on. By which law he wants to displace us, 2 million Palestinians from Gaza. What would he say if I say, for instance, that people in New York should be removed to Afghanistan? Of course, he will be totally mad if I say so. What would he have said if somebody suggested that Jewish people in Israel should be removed from Israel and transferred to Europe, where they came from? What would be his reaction? The basic element here is that this is a very serious violation of international law, and it will not work. I think President Trump has shown an unbelievable level of ignorance of the history of the Palestinian people, of the resilience of the Palestinian people, but also ignorance of the geopolitical facts on the ground in the Middle East. Jordan will not accept this. Egypt will not accept this. Saudi Arabia rejected that. I don't think any country that respects international law and respects itself would accept such proposals.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you a practical question? And that is that it is rubble. In 15 months, the Israeli military has managed to reduce much of the Gaza Strip to rubble. Do you think it's uninhabitable? Do you think Gazans can actually figure out how to live there? A lot of the Arab countries, like Qatar said today, we plan, as a group of Arab nations to help rebuild, but while the Palestinians remain there. But Steve Witkoff, who visited Gaza last week, said this just yesterday. What we're trying to do is be transparent to these people. If you go to Gaza today, I was there, I witnessed it, you see people going there, picking up a tent, and literally, in some circumstances, turning right around again because there is nothing left there. What is your answer to that?
That's exactly the Israeli propaganda. My answer to that is that 500,000 Palestinians, 500,000 people, came back to the north of Gaza, although it is destroyed, of course, because they would not leave their land. And what they are talking about is absolutely incorrect, because the last thing any Palestinian wants, after we've experienced ethnic cleansing in 1948, the last thing that people want is to be ethnically cleansed again. To be disconnected, as some people have told you in your program, to be disconnected from their history, from their families, from their land. And don't forget that the people in Gaza are part of the Palestinian people who also live in West Bank and also live in 1948 areas. Why would they be separated from their families and their relatives? And this is unacceptable. And also, people are ready to reconstruct. We are ready. We didn't complain to President Trump. We are ready to survive. People in Gaza are ready to survive, regardless of the harsh conditions. And Mr. Trump should have asked Netanyahu, how could you have caused all this damage? He should have asked himself where they did the 86,000 tons of explosives that were thrown on Gaza. Where did they come from? From the United States of America. United States has responsibility for the terrible genocide that took place, that Netanyahu conducted. And for that, it should be paying compensation to Palestinians. They should force Israel to pay compensation to Palestinians, not to punish the victim by ethnically cleansing us out of Gaza. That is totally unacceptable.
Can I ask you something? Because you mentioned the West Bank. You're sitting there in Ramallah, the headquarters of the Palestinian government, such as it is, on the occupied West Bank. And we see every day reports from there of basically a lot of still settler violence, IDF in various areas. Some of it is, they say, to clear out terrorists from like Jenin and elsewhere. But there's a big effort, and the settlers are not shy about it, to take over farmland and olive and other orchards and villages. What is actually happening there? Because Trump was also asked whether he would pronounce on whether he would accept full annexation of the West Bank.
Well, the real essence of what Trump is doing, and I am sure he did all of that in consultation with Netanyahu and the other fascist ministers in his government, he wants now to ethnically cleanse Gaza. He will allow Israel to annex the West Bank, and then they will be talking about transferring the population, the Palestinian population, from West Bank to Jordan. We know, we understand what they are doing. At this very moment, the Israeli army has already ethnically cleansed Jenin refugee camp. They forced more than 20,000 people to evict their homes and started destroying their homes. Hamas is not running West Bank. So why are they doing that if they used to claim that they are attacking Gaza because of Hamas? No, it's not true. They are attacking Gaza and the West Bank because Palestinian people live there, because Netanyahu has made it his mission in life, he and his fascist government, to completely ethnically cleanse Palestinian people. And he will not succeed. What he failed to achieve through genocide will not be achieved through threats of the American president. We're resilient. We're staying on our land, whatever it takes, and how much it costs us. We would not leave our country because we cannot accept another Nakba, another ethnic cleansing of our people.
So, Dr. Barghouti, you know that neither the United States nor Israel accepts the word genocide about Gaza. But the Israeli right wing and the settlers, as you know, are euphoric, as they've been saying. The former minister, Ben-Gvir, said that he might return to the coalition over this if Trump's plan is implemented. And he tweeted, "When I said this time and again during the war, that this was the solution to Gaza, they mocked me. Now it's clear this is the only solution to the Gaza problem. This is the strategy for the day after." So they feel like they're winning. My question to you is, what is going to stop this?
The sad thing here, Christian, is that, unfortunately, the whole Israeli political spectrum, from the governing parties to the claimed opposition, all of them have welcomed what Trump said. That is a very dangerous phenomenon. It shows that not only the Israeli government, but practically much of the Israeli society has moved to fascism. This kind of behavior I've never read about or seen before, except maybe what happened in Germany during the Nazis and the fascists there. This is very dangerous development, not only for Palestinians, but for the future of Israelis themselves. And this kind of tendency, where they are all accepting a war crime of ethnic cleansing and encouraging it, where did all the talk about peace, about survival, about coexistence, where did it all go? And if that is the kind of behavior we are witnessing now from the vast majority of the Israeli society, then what do they expect from the Palestinian people? Do they think that we will simply surrender and capitulate? Of course not. What can stop this plan is three things. First of all, Palestinian resilience and resistance to this terrible war crime. Second, it should be a unified Arab position, which we expect will happen and take place. And now we see worldwide condemnation, or at least rejection, of this terrible and criminal idea.
And finally,
these are very important three factors. Please.
Fine, and I will put that to Saudi Prince Turkey in a moment. But you know, obviously, the Israelis will reject the way you characterize them. And interestingly, there were quite a few Israelis who CNN asked today in Tel Aviv and elsewhere, and they didn't like this plan either. But I don't know about the majority of the country. But my question to you now is, do you think the two-state solution is dead?
I think they've killed it long time ago. But the question is, what is the alternative to two-state solution? Without removing the Israeli legal settlements, we cannot see a two-state solution. Without ending occupation, you cannot see a real Palestinian state. But if there is no two-state solution, the only solution left will be one democratic state with equal rights for everybody on all of the historic Palestine. They don't want it, I know. They reject two-state solution, they reject one-state solution. What is their solution? Exactly the ethnic cleansing that now President Trump is advocating. This is a very shameful and black moment in the American history, that the American president, the highest person in the system, is calling for conducting a war crime, something that never happened before. And it is really shameful. And I hope that the American establishment can correct itself on this matter and force President Trump to retract these dangerous ideas.
Well, that'll be interesting. We'll watch out, because certain politicians are saying, particularly the bit about using American troops, that is not going to go over very well in the United States. So, Mustafa Barghouti, thank you.